Hey everybody, this is Renae from The Space Between, and you are listening to The Space Between podcast, the show that lets you listen to how the fans feel about the music, the art behind over 30 years of the Dave Matthews Band. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week I bring on a new fan of the Dave Matthews Band to talk about their journey with this band who has been with us almost 33 years. Starting in 1991 and going into 2024, like they just started. I cannot believe that we are lucky enough to be on this planet at the same time as this amazing band, because they have continued to change lives. And so, of course, that's what this podcast is about, is how the Dave Matthews Band has affected at least 35,000 fans live, right? Because that's how many fans the Dave Matthews Band has. Yeah. So today I have Mark with me. So Mark, tell me who you are, where in the world are you, and when was the first time you ever heard of the Dave Matthews Band?
All right. So what's up, you beautiful people? Mark DeCristoforo from Stoneham, Mass, a.k.a. Marky D, just much easier. So my journey pretty much started, like I was saying earlier, 96 at the original Boston Garden.
God, yes.
Because it was knocked down like, I don't know, freaking twice.
Yes.
But, you know, my life wasn't going too well at that time. And my brother had just come across these tickets. And, you know, I came home from football practice one day and he's like, hey, I can't go. Do you want to go to this show? And I was like, Dave Matthews Band, okay,
who the fuck
whatever,
is that?
free tickets. Like, okay. So I go to football practice the next day, get one of my buddies, and I said, you know what? If it sucks, we'll just leave.
That's right.
Well, not only did we stay the whole time, but our shirts were soaked. We just jammed out and had a blast.
Yes.
But I think it was when I heard it's the best of what's around, just those first lyrics is what tied into like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, my eyes are pretty troubled.
Yeah.
So if I talk of like, and then it started getting me to think, like, if I talk about it enough, you know, I depend on my friends, and that was mostly my family growing up, was my friends and my distant family.
Yeah.
Didn't really have too much. But I was hooked after that, completely hooked. And I considered it an outlet.
Yeah.
Just to forget about what's going on, like how crappy life is going, or, you know, the job that I didn't get, or,
Right.
you know, the grade that I got wrong and stuff like that. So it was just, but what Dave taught me, what the DMB taught me, is to enjoy the show. When I was telling you about how Phish is kind of involved in this,
Yeah.
my brother is a huge Phish fan, almost like I am a Dave fan. So I
Awesome.
kind of had like, I had both aspects.
Yeah.
So Dave taught me about to enjoy the show and to just forget about everything and just, you know, just have fun. Phish taught me how to enjoy the crowd.
Yeah.
So I went to a couple Phish shows back and forth. But there was one show in Limestone, Maine. It was a Phish festival called Lemon Wheel. They had this, it was called a glow stick war. I think it was the only one they've had. They might have had one more, but it was like thousands of, and I was right in the middle of it, thousands of glow sticks just coming from each side. So by the time you pick up like 4, you're already getting pegged with like 10.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. It was just so much fun, but just to see how everybody enjoyed the music. I wasn't just in my own head.
Right.
Everybody was feeling the same way I was.
Yeah.
So it helped me to like enjoy shows a lot more. And not only that, but it was like back and forth with me and my brother. I would go to shows with him to Phish. He would come to Dave to shows with me. But I never saw Dave out of New England. It was always like Connecticut, you know, Boston, Mansfield, Worcester, but I never made it out of that area until actually 2020 when I went to Cancun the first time.
Oh my God. What a year to go. I mean, it was before the world fell apart.
Yeah, we got back 2 weeks before that happened.
God bless.
Before it was
Oh.
like a shutdown. But leading up to that, up to the 2020, where, you know, it took me a while to find myself,
Mm-hmm.
going through the depression I was talking about, and a lot of anxiety, and just life.
Right.
Just life. Life got the
Yeah.
best of me.
Yeah.
But listening to Dave and listening to Phish and kind of just those entwined, carried me through. It
Yeah.
was it helped. It definitely helped.
Yeah.
Um, but 2020 is where I realized like how big the DMB family is.
It's
It
massive.
People from across the globe, like Sweden, and it was just so cool just to be able to talk to people from other aspects of the world and how they view it, and how
Right.
their friends see it. And I get a lot of flack from my friends for being a Dave Matthews Band,
Really? I mean, I think
and
we
I
all
don't
do
care.
secretly.
Yeah, I don't care. I kind of just like, they have no idea what they're missing.
That's exactly right. And it's
So,
not for
um,
everybody. I mean, we can all
no,
say that. Yeah.
exactly. So it's just, to me, it just speaks volumes.
Exactly.
And just like we were talking about before, like how many lives his music has affected, just taking people away from their craziness going on in their mind, and just like
Right.
just sit and relax and enjoy music.
Right. So let's go back. So the first time you saw the band, you said was 96. Is that right?
96
Okay.
October.
So
Yep.
before that, or even like in that time frame, like what were you listening to? Like what was the music that was in your ears before you heard the Dave Matthews Band?
Honestly, it was more like heavy metal stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that.
It was all like high school bands. I was going to high school shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you know, it was Metallica. It was
Sure.
all those heavy metal bands.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed going to shows. That was the whole thing. Like, no matter if it was heavy metal or Dave Matthews, or it was a show, and it's a good
Right.
time.
Literally,
Um,
yeah. It's a
yeah,
show. I mean, it is something too. It's for your eyes, it's for your ears, but oh my God, those moments when you get chill bumps, it's like for your whole body. It really
yeah.
is.
It's a wake up call,
It is.
you
It
know.
is.
But it's weird how it like switched. So I went from like listening to like the heaviest stuff to
Right.
just Dave Matthews.
Because I would say that's a hard swing. I mean, I can
It-
see liking both, but I can see where you would catch more flack, I guess, from going like, say, like if you're listening to Metallica and then you switch to something like the Dave Matthews Band's, people going, what the fuck what happened?
Yep. You know what? Deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, you can
Well,
be like a
so
multifaceted person. You can like a lot of different
yeah.
things, right?
I still listen to it. But
Yes.
my choice, my preference automatically went to like Dave Matthews Band, Moe, Strange Folk, Conehead Buddha. It just went to like a lot of jam bands,
Yeah.
Phish cover bands. Um, but yeah, that kind of led me in that direction. Like, things aren't
Yeah.
so bad, you know?
Right. Exactly. So were you always, or kind of was the Dave Matthews Band like your being so young in 96? And I'm trying to remember 96 myself, but it was a long time ago and it feels like a long time ago. But like, was this your first time to really kind of experience things like a horn section or a violin or fiddle? I mean, like, was this your first
Yes.
experience hearing those things?
Oh yeah. I've never heard of like the violin be included into like
Right.
that type of band. And I always thought it was just country, fiddle.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Exactly.
bluegrass. But the way they worked everything together,
Right.
and it was amazing that Stefan was so young at that point in
It's
time.
wild. I
I
love
mean, I
it
only think
though.
he was like 2 years older than me. I don't think he's much older than I am.
Yeah. I mean, there's stories of how they had to sneak him in and sneak him out, right? Because he wasn't old, of
I've
age
heard
to be in
this.
the places where he was playing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but what an amazing story. I mean, yeah, he probably didn't get to experience some things because of like fame and stuff, but also like, thank you for the sacrifice, Stefan, like,
Yeah,
thank
seriously.
you.
Yeah. You're just gonna have to do high school on the road. That's just
Oh,
how it's going to have to happen.
God. Darn. So many
That's
kids
all
are
right.
doing that now, right? Like, and that was such a different time to think of dropping out of school, whether it be high school, college, whatever, to just go on the road. I mean, what a lofty dream at the time. And it makes me think, like, what were his parents is like, were they like, okay, we know you're a gifted musician, go ahead and go? Or were they like, I think this is a terrible idea? Like, I don't, I
Mm,
want to know those backstories.
As a parent, I'm guessing they probably gave him a little flack for it, but
It seems like you would. I mean,
he
what a
was.
scary.
I mean, for him that young to outdo a lot of other people that I'm sure were in line for it or
Right.
had, you know,
What an
but
honor.
to be that young and that amazing, it's like
And it worked out.
it worked out perfectly.
It really worked out for him. I mean, sometimes sacrifice pays off, right? Like, whoo, God, I didn't know at the time if this was going to be the right decision, but then boom,
Yeah, I
it
think
was.
30 years
And
later,
do what?
I think 30 years later, he's kind of giving it like, okay,
Yeah,
it
I kind of
worked.
scored big on following my dreams.
Yeah.
What?
I mean,
Follow your
traveled the
dreams?
world. Like,
But like
would
I
I
said,
love
I'm
to go to
sure.
Amsterdam and see DMB? Of course I would.
Oh my
But
God. I am so jealous of every person that is going to Europe this year. I mean, not only do you get to see like iconic parts of the world and places and
that's
stories that we've never heard because we live in the States, but then also including that with something so familiar to us and a band that we
yeah.
love. And then
And
also
in a
the bands
different
brings,
setting too. So I'm
wow,
sure
yes.
everything is much different, over
Yeah,
on that. So
right. Because we've all heard that like a European crowd is a little more reserved than American crowd. I
yeah.
kind of like that. I kind of dig that people think Americans are like loud and crazy because
Hey,
are we? Probably are. But like, I respect the fact that they just want to sit and hear instead of, I don't know. That's so hard for me to think about, like to go. And then if I were expected to sit and be quiet at a Dave Matthews Band, like I would understand and want to respect those rules, but also I feel like at a show for me, like it's kind of like a spirit gets inside of me and like I don't even know
I
what's
tried that.
happening.
It does not work. I tried it. I sat down. I was on the top section where, and it's all of a sudden the feet start tapping.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
noticing nobody's up. I'm like, I, you know what? My shame holds no boundaries. And I got up and I'm
That's
like,
right.
I want to enjoy the show.
And I can't imagine though, like from a band perspective. I mean, yes, I'm sure there's a lot of honor and amazing feelings that come with knowing that your crowd really wants to just like respect you and listen to every detail of what you're doing. But also on the flip side of that, what a fun thing to get to watch at is people just losing their shit because of what you're saying
Yeah.
and what you're singing and the way you're dancing. And I feel like that kind of fuels the fire a little bit. So,
Yeah.
it's cool to get to know that they get both sides of that, right? Because that's got to be different even for them, right? I would imagine.
Hello, everybody. This is Dave Rich from the Eddie Casino Band out in Las Vegas. We're really excited to get this journey going, celebrating our music, our original music, on all platforms. We just released our first single over Labor Day weekend called Eddie Casino. If you're looking for new music, look out for our next single coming out to Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Apple Music. These guys in the band are really excited to get started playing music for you all. If you like Tom Petty, Zach Brown, Jason Mraz, Dave Matthews Band, Rob Thomas, Jimmy Buffett, Pink Floyd, Stapleton, Bare Naked Ladies, Goose, Billy Strings, Sting and the Police, a ton of influences that we bring to the table. Hope you enjoy our music and look forward to seeing you soon live on stage.
I'm sure it's a different feeling,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say the least.
Yeah.
Just
And I
to,
mean,
to stand on a stage and look at thousands of people waiting to hear you, even just say hello.
it's
That's
wild.
incredible.
It is incredible. And obviously it's a
Well,
good thing for them or they wouldn't do it. Because I think at this point in their career, they can kind of do whatever they want to do. Would you not? I mean, for the most
Well,
part.
so here's a little, since 96, I've been trying to go through shows, as many as I can, life takes
Yeah.
over as first. I've never got in the pit. I've never been as close as 200 yards where he's like that big, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, in 2021, actually, I got a question for you too, and
Ooh.
your listeners might be
All
able
right.
to answer this one.
Ooh, listen up.
So in 2021, my brother and his now wife bought me pit tickets.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's a completely different ball game, like completely different. You're so close. It's like you're within feet of where they're playing. You can actually see their faces and their expressions. And they enjoyed it just as much, if not more, than my first show. You
Yeah.
could see them just like singing along when they didn't even need to sing, just smiling and talking back and forth to each other. And, Dave and Carter giving a bump. And it's just, it's a different appreciation because you can actually see like the enjoyment on their faces.
Yeah.
So it took like going to shows to like, oh my God, this is
It
fun.
does. It does.
So my wristband, I don't know if this was actually a thing because my brother threw away his wristband, but I have 8675309.
Ooh, what? That's the number on
Yes.
your wristband?
Yes. Let me just 8675309.
I feel like that's a
So I
lucky
tried telling
bracelet.
my brother, tried getting him to like find it. He couldn't find it. And I tried searching for it on the web, but I'm not tech savvy at all. So I don't know if this is like a print that they just had for all pit wristbands,
I
or
don't know.
if I just got the luck of the draw.
Ooh. So, okay, wait, tell us which year that would have been, that band?
That was 2021, where they
Okay.
just came back out with the concerts.
Right,
But you had
right.
to take the tests and
Oh, that's
show your
right.
cards and all that stuff. But
Oh my gosh.
and no, if you're ever going to get picked to pit like crew, get in there early. Get in there early and get your spot, and bring favors
True.
for the people around you so you can find your way in and out just by.
It's definitely a
It
buddy
helps.
system. You gotta
No, it
kind of
definitely
talk to your
helps.
neighbors and be like, hey, like if I need to
Yep.
pee, are you gonna let me
Yep.
back?
Save my spot. But you know what? If you're that close, the show is so amazing.
It
You're
is.
not going to want to move.
It's
So
true.
you don't. Yeah. I didn't even turn around to say hello to my brother. Like I was focused on the show.
You're like, I've
I
seen
didn't
you
even.
my whole life. I've seen these guys this close for like just now.
I was so we had walked. This is the funny part, is because obviously with my brother being the Phish fan, just like I'm the Dave fan, I walked onto the pit floor and my jaw dropped. I was just speechless, like turning
Hmm.
around and looking at the crowd. And I didn't say a thing. And little tears started to fall. My brother leans in over my shoulder. He's like, he's about to talk. I go, no, 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 just silence. He's
Yeah.
like, I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
totally get it.
Yeah.
It was just a whole different experience.
It really is. I mean, so what is it about this band that, this many years later, you're still in it? What keeps you coming back for more? And, that kind of just came out at the right time. And
No. So what I love to hear is like, I'm not saying when they mess up, when they play different songs,
yeah.
and and then they try to catch up with each other. Like I love that because they just keep going. They don't
Hmm.
even they kind of look at each other and just keep going.
Right.
Um, you know, Dave with his yeah, he's gonna go on when you go to Mexico, he's gonna come out and he's just gonna talk some weird shit.
And I'm ready.
It's gonna happen and it's gonna be funny. So but I love just the kookiness of it. And if he screws up a song, he just like smiles, laughs it off, and just keeps going.
Because what are you gonna do? Like, are you gonna stop? I
He's
mean, come
human.
on, guys. Yeah.
He's human.
Yeah.
He's there to and he knows people enjoy it.
Of
I think at
course.
this point he knows people enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think
Um,
that sometimes he fucks up to fuck up, and
yeah, yeah,
he doesn't mind. And again, like if I ever hear anybody complain about him messing up the words or whatever, it just kind of irks me. I'm like, are you expecting perfection? Because no one is going to give you that. No
Yeah.
one.
What is the perfect show?
That's an opinion, not a fact.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You come out of shows and you hear people like, it was slow. I thought it was, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude,
But I
he
bet
played
you
some
one
great.
person at that concert was like, it spoke to their heart, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
so it's not every show is for every person, and you're not going to find the gold at every show. Like, it's not going to be the perfect show every time. There's no way it can be, but it is going to be a different show every time. And so let's talk about that. Like, I mean, that usually is the hook for people, and the chase is going time after time, even if they said, you know what, they're going to sing the same songs that you heard at your last concert. Okay, well, we know it's going to be different though, right? So like, is that something that you've experienced? And like, do you have certain versions of certain songs that you prefer over others?
No, honestly, like so there was when he played at Fenway Park, I think it was like 2004. I went to the first show. It wasn't good because the music was awesome.
Yeah.
It's where I was sitting at home plate behind Fenway. I got the reverberation.
Wow.
So I was hearing two concerts. So we ended up getting tickets to the next show. There were a lot of repeats. But it's just the music. Sometimes they just go off on tantrums, They'd let Boyd play for 45 minutes, like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
In the middle of a song, like, you know what I mean? And then they'll go right back to the song. So it's like,
ooh, I love that so much.
just
that fast shift. Oof.
And their want, and he gets the crowd going. And well, he did, unfortunately. But yeah, it's that willingness to like make the crowd happy.
Yeah.
With their music.
Yeah. Because
if only for just 1 second.
Right. That's got to feel good, because I think it's contagious to see people happy. I think it's contagious to see people enjoying themselves. And I think it's contagious to see love, right? And those are three things that we know that we can see in the crowd, no matter where you are. And so I really do feel like we're feeding them and they are feeding us. And I really do feel like it's a circle, right? Like we're all kind of working because it's working. And one day this circle will stop. But for right now, it's like the best fucking ride I've ever been on, right? Like I just can't get off of this ride. And
you can't
and
get off until they
exactly. And also they're going to have to kick me off the ride, right? Like I'm not leaving voluntarily.
No.
I'm in it.
It's just, I'm in it to win it. It's too enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much. It's too good. There's too many good vibes not to listen to it anymore.
Right. And I like that you say that, because oftentimes, we talk about the shows we've gone to. We talk about that a lot, right? Because it's an experience and it is different once you see them live. But I am a firm believer in that people can love this band and people continue to love this band and listen to everything that they have and have never seen them live, because that really is a luxury to get to go to these shows and people that travel. I mean, like that's a whole game that I think has gotten a little easier since people work remote now. In the early 2000s, I was not traveling. I think, I don't know if people traveled as much as they do now because we're older and wiser and more set in our like professional lives and stuff, but
set in our ways, we don't do certain stuff anymore.
But I mean, like there are still really big fans that never travel, and so like I was a fan for most of my time loving this band without ever seeing them, because again, my first show wasn't until 2015, only for the simple fact, not that I didn't want to, but because I was young, I was broke, I had just gotten married, I had babies, life. Like it was just early life, right? And so like I didn't have those opportunities until like all of those things settled down and I got a little more established in life. But I think we're so fucking lucky to have this band and again, because of this band, I have been able to create this platform, this podcast where I get to meet people that I would have never probably met otherwise. And it just continues to feed my soul. So I'm so thankful that I've gotten to meet you, because I mean, again, like there's no way we can all meet each other And, meeting you has opened up some really cool things. I got a package in the mail. I would say it's been a couple weeks ago. When you agreed to be on the show, you were like, hey, I'm mailing you something. And I was like, okay, awesome. I love it. And you sent like the
I even
cutest.
had to send you directions.
You did. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to see because I'm showing this right now. But he sent me like a handwritten letter, which I love. I can't tell you the last time I got a handwritten letter. Like it made my whole day. It really did. And so I know you sent me some pictures. So we're going to put these pictures up right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to see all this stuff. And if you're not, head over to YouTube and watch this because you're going to see Mark's invention. So walk us through this. First of all, kind of tell me like how in the world did you come up with this idea? And then obviously you took it to Mexico because you've sent me some pictures of that. And then like, what are you trying to do with this?
What's up, everybody? This is David with the Dave Matthews Tribute Band. We're a nationally touring tribute to DMB, playing shows all over the country and beyond. Our goal is to bring you back to the classic sound that you fell in love with in the 90s and the 2000s, featuring a violin, saxophone, and maybe some keyboards sprinkled in as well. You can find out information about all of our tours and shows by visiting thedmtb.com. You can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram and other socials by searching the Dave Matthews Tribute Band or the DMTB. Hope to see you on the road and enjoy the Space Between podcast.
Okay. Well, the first picture I think was of the Tiki Hut. That was my 2020 trip, my first trip.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually had like on the Grand Nazook, so we could see down to the pool, which is like we knew what we were getting into, and it was freaking crazy. But you bring your cups down there, you meet people, you're talking, you're laughing, but you're constantly holding a cup.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed so we got there on Wednesday. I noticed by Saturday, I was actually walking like this because of the pool. It comes up to about here and you have to hold your drink above water.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I was literally walking like this and I didn't realize it until somebody pointed it out to me. I'm like, oh my God, so I was like, something's got to be done. Like,
yes.
So then I waited. I just kind of like figured, somebody will come up with something. Right. So that was 2020. Everything shut down. He didn't do 2021. But I got to go to that concert, which, kind of made up for it.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then in 2022, we went back again. We stayed in Sunrise.
Uh-huh.
I forget which picture I put on that one. But, that was the circle with the sand. The circle in the sand.
Oh, yeah.
The gentleman, Brian, I was talking about, and Jenny, right?
Uh-huh.
They got to the show there early before us. So, and it's still light out. So they were joking around and they literally drew a circle in the sand thinking like, it'll keep people out.
Right.
It freaking kept people out. People were walking around the circle. It was amazing. I should have sent you the video of and there's waiters that walk around. He literally walked up to the circle and walked around it. It was amazing.
Are you telling me that waiters are going to come out to the show and still get me drinks?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I don't even want to.
No.
I'm trying. I'm going to give you as little tips, as little information as possible, because when I first saw this, it was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You'll see.
This is exciting.
You will not go empty-handed.
No.
Put it that way.
If I don't want to, yeah.
But it was a great show. Actually, the first show, because Trey came out again, the first show in 2020.
Uh-huh.
I was, it was a dream vacation. You go to Cancun. I'm going with, one of my best friends. We're meeting a bunch of people. And I'm like, Phish is playing the next week. I'm like, it would be pretty cool if like Trey or Mike or Fishman just kind of like, they're playing next week. So maybe they just pop out, say like, hello.
Yeah.
And then that's it. So once I saw Trey come out, I was like,
oh my God, it's happening.
I called it. Yeah, this is real. I'm like, I don't even want to call my brother right now because he's going to be so jealous. But the good thing is he came back out in 2021. He did it again, which
Awesome.
was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then in 2023, I was like, okay, nobody brought any floats. There were no floats to be had.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't find them anywhere. So I'm like, you know what? I got to start thinking outside the box. So I bought an Ozark Trail seat cushion, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
the 1 inch thick, and I just started trimming with scissors. I'm like, I try to factor in like what people like. I did this. Well, who's going to hate that? And I started playing like, the stupid thinking outside the box, like who's going to hate it, who's going to love it.
Right.
So I ended up coming up with that idea. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if it was a drink float and a Frisbee? Like, can that work? So again, snip it with the scissors, started throwing it around. I'm like, this actually freaking works. So then I took a little bit further. I took a little in the next step. I'm like, went and talked to a foam company. I'm like, can you do like, is this possible?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, of course it is. What type of phone do you want? Blah, blah, blah. The great thing I liked about that company, and he's like, you don't want this foam. You want this foam,
Oh,
which
so he
is the
helped
foam
you.
you have. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had this like flimsy foam, but this is like insane foam. So I did my patent, blah, blah, blah. I had 200 of them made, packed them all up in like 4 different double bags. I went by myself this time in 2023,
Wow.
which was awesome. I flew first class. It was like amazing.
Yeah.
It cost me a shit ton of money, but
Of
like
course. It was
it didn't
worth
matter.
it.
To see the smiles on people's faces was worth every single penny. I didn't even care.
So you took these to
Um,
Mexico and gave them to
oh
people.
yeah.
Okay, so people
Oh
already
yeah.
know about these.
Nope. Nobody
No?
knew about these.
Okay.
Nobody. Yeah, because I didn't take them in 2022.
Gotcha.
I was just noticing that
Sure.
nobody made one.
Right.
And nothing's being done. So I left in 2022, and I'm like, something's got to be done. So I kind of came up with that creation. Had 200 of them made. I had 4 bags with me. Oh yeah, a full hockey bag, a full duffel bag, a suitcase, and a backpack.
Damn.
So yeah, I got nailed in charges. I got nailed in
Oh yeah.
charges when
Oh yeah.
when I got there. They're like, "Oh wait, you got like way more bags than we thought."
Right.
So whatever. I'm like, I don't care what it costs. Like they're getting to Mexico.
Yeah.
So I get to Mexico. I'm like, oh great, all of my bags made it. Like this is great. So I'm walking out. All of a sudden it's this white kid, 40 years old, with 4 bags trying to walk through Mexico airport. You'll notice when you get to the airport, there's like a last line of defense for the
Uh-huh.
security before you walk around the corner and out the door.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he saw me and he's like,
Nope.
pull over.
Get out.
Like,
Yep. Get over
Aki
here.
motherfucker over here. So,
You look all kinds of sketchy.
I was a little nervous. Like,
oh
to say
God,
the
are you
least.
about to stick your finger in my butthole? Like, what is about to happen?
Please, God, no.
No.
So he was opening them up and then he started asking me about them. He's like, so what are these? Like, what is this? And I said, they're giveaways. Like I'm giving them away when I get there. There's a certain amount of money that you can actually take into Mexico as far as products. I overstepped that boundary by a lot. So yeah, it cost me an extra, a little amount of
So it
money.
was a money it was a money thing. Like if you do
they
this,
they were they thought I was going to the hotel to sell these things.
Of
is
course.
what they're
And it
of
looked
course
like
is what
that.
they thought is.
Yeah.
And I get it. I was totally compliant. And even the officer was like, "You're being cooperative." Like I get it. And I'm like, it is what it is. Like these need to. How can I get these to the hotel? Just it doesn't matter what the money is. Just tell me what I have to pay. Ooh. And to all you smokers out there, if you can only bring a carton and a half. It's either a carton or a carton and a half. You'll get, if they find you, they'll tax you on each pack.
Holy shit. And so they want you to buy them there.
Basically, yeah, I paid
Okay.
$130 for a 6-pack extra packs.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
Oh. So what did that
Yeah, I
make? That
wanted to
was
frame the things. I didn't even want to smoke them.
right.
But either way, the floats got to the hotel. That
Thank
was my
God.
whole point. So I was kind of like biding my time. I didn't know when I should bring them down, like how I should present them.
Right.
Um,
How do you bring
so
200 down, or do you just bring like 10 at a time? Like,
well,
what was your plan?
so what I did was the Mexico Friends group. What happened is the Mexico Friends group, everybody got one first.
Uh-huh.
Or at least the ones that I could at least find. You know what I
Right.
mean? I got a good majority of them, but they got them first, so
Yeah.
they should automatically have one. After that, they just started handing them out, and that was
Yeah.
it. So I handed them, the floats at first, and I waited for another day. I'm like, let it sit. So the next day, I'm walking down to the pool with a duffel bag, and these things in a string. I'm holding them.
Yeah.
Oh, the flock of people. You got swag? What's up with that swag? What do you
Yeah.
got? I want
Right.
what you got. So I was just like,
Here you
started handing them
go.
out.
Yeah.
And within an hour, they were gone.
Oh my God. I mean, because
Well,
it's such a
within
smart
like an hour
idea.
and a half.
It really is a genius idea. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to get to see this. But again, if you're listening to this on a podcast, you can go to YouTube and watch this and fast forward it or whatever you want to do to this part. But I think it's important that you see this because it's kind of hard to wrap your head around until you see it. And then you're like, oh, okay, gotcha. And I have to say that like when I got this in the mail, which thank you so much for mailing Justin and
You're
I
very
one of
welcome. Thank you for having me on this podcast.
Yes. So I take it out of the box and I'm like, hey, Justin, take a look at this. Like, I want you to try to see if you can tell me what it is without me explaining anything. So he does a great job. He's like looking at this and he's like, okay, a hole. Okay, there's a couple of things that I'm thinking. And then what stumped him was this little tiny hole, right? So you got a big hole in the middle and then you got this tiny little, and that's what he couldn't wrap his head around. And so of course, when we read your wicked letter, your wicked letter, he was like, oh my God, this is so smart. So walk us through this, like exactly how it works and how in the world did you like come up with every step to do it?
All right. Well, what I was saying about it is I was like eliminating things that are around today
Yeah.
that kind of makes this different. Like most cup holders have nets. Like, why does it have a net? I don't like the net.
Right.
And then, it just sits in there. So it's kind of like it floats around, so it's not secure.
Right.
Or, some have come out and they're this bulky thing. So it's like you can't really travel with it.
Right.
And plus they're heavy. Sometimes you got to deflate them or they don't deflate and they're just like this huge donut. You have to find 4 inches of 4 by 12 inches of room in your suitcase. I don't know how you do that.
You pay
just
extra.
To bring a drink. Yeah, exactly. An extra suitcase just for your drink float. I mean, so, and then like, I was thinking about, if it floats, what if you're having a conversation with somebody, because you're going to have a lot of them, and you're going to forget about your drink.
Of course.
And by the time you know it, it's halfway across the pool.
Yeah.
And somebody has the same cup as you, so they've already stolen it.
Right.
And not by meaning, just by accident.
Right.
So that's why I designed a little hole on it with the strings.
Yes.
You can put it through and just let it float. Let it just kind of, it'll do its thing as long as you hold that string. But the first one I designed it for, because we brought these big cups, the 32-ounce ones.
Yes.
So my design was basically based off of that.
Sure. Because those are very common cups. I feel like they're probably the most common size cup now. And
there's always different types like Arctic, Yeti, they all have, but the width of them is pretty much all the same. So getting back to the secure thing, like I wanted something where you drink and float, but it's not sitting there. Like if it tips over, what's going to happen? Your drink's gone.
Yep.
Or, it empties out or something like that.
Right.
Plus I wanted to have, like your drink's going to obviously melt. If you're holding it like this, the heat from your hand's going to melt you.
Right.
So why not have it in the pool? Because the pool's cold.
Cool water.
So it's like a natural cooler.
Right. Exactly.
So I took a couple measurements and did whatever. I wanted it to sit kind of like right at that point where it's
Mhm.
bottom, a bottom heavy. So
Right,
regardless,
right. Oh,
whether it
yeah,
rocks or
smart.
rolls, it's not going anywhere.
Smart.
Um, so with that thing, I started cutting it out, which turned into this.
Uh-huh.
So what you do is just slip it in and then push it up. And it's on the cup. So no matter what, like your cup
Holy
flips, it's
shit.
not going anywhere. It's so tight on it that it's not
Oh
doing
my
anything.
God.
It's bottom heavy, so it's not gonna.
Right. It's like
It's
a,
not. You can and
yeah.
you can still grab it right out of the water. You don't have to take it. That was another thing. You don't have to take it out of a net with your hand water going all
Right.
over. You can
Right.
just scoop it right out of the water and just literally drop it right
Yes.
back in the water.
Yeah.
Um,
That's so smart the way you did it because you don't have to take it out of it to take a drink because there's so little of it up
and
top.
it's still, yeah, you can
Yeah.
still hold it by your body. That was another
Yeah.
thing because you're going to sit there and hold it.
Right.
Um, and you can still drink it because there's still enough room. I had a beard at that point too when I was doing this, so it
Oh
was like
yeah.
really annoying.
There's beard
Um,
room.
oh, it was like there was complete beard room, which is
Yes.
great. But there's still room to drink it, put it back down, and just hold on to that string and just let it float away. When you're
You could
thirsty,
even,
pull
I
it.
guess, like if you don't want to hold onto the string, you could tie it to your
Yeah,
floaty or
yep,
whatever, that way it doesn't
yeah,
get
a little
away.
clip, a little carabiner or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but then I wanted to kind of make it a little different. Like, what else can I do for this? Like, you're in a pool. Everybody's going to have everybody's going to have drink floats,
Mm-hmm.
and there's going to be footballs flying around, and there's going to be everybody's going to have their floats, and
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be sitting there relaxing. Well, I've never seen a frisbee there, so I
True.
was like, and that's when I kind of got into it. So see how the angle is up,
Yeah.
where it looks like a. So if you take
Yes.
it off, I'm just going to put this aside and grab another one. So if you take it off, right, and
Uh-huh.
you take the string off, and you flip it over, so it's like
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah.
It's a frisbee, and it actually works pretty freaking good.
That is
I was very
awesome.
surprised to see it actually work because it's so lightweight
Right.
that you don't think it's going. You think it's just going to fly everywhere. It actually does pretty good.
It's
I've
useful
had like
and fun.
yep. And not only that, I had this tested. I went to Florida actually after Cancun of last year.
Oh, wow.
Just it was a family vacation. I had to go.
Of course.
Well, I don't have any family. It's my brother's
Yeah.
family. I'm not married. I
Yeah.
don't have kids. I don't deal with that.
Yeah.
I don't got time for that. Um,
Different strokes for
I got
different
enough
folks,
problems in
right?
my life. I don't need
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I had this tested. So we were in Florida, and I just kind of put my drink in the water, and I
Uh-huh.
told all my nieces and nephews, start doing cannonballs. Like,
Oh yeah,
beat the
smart.
crap out of this thing.
Test it out.
Test it out. This thing took the beating of its life. Like, it was just all over the place,
Damn. Uh-huh.
but it never flipped. And that was like, I think there's something's got to be done.
Yeah.
So, but if you notice the sticker,
Yes, let's
did I
talk
get you
about the
stickers?
sticker. What you did, you sent
Okay.
me stickers to put on it, and it's the same design that's on your shirt. So tell us
Oh
what in the
yeah. Well,
world.
I had to make it a
Is?
shirt. I thought it
Of
was funny,
course.
so I had to make it
Yeah.
into a shirt.
Yes. So tell us, what does that
um,
mean? Like, how did you come up with it, and what is this thing called?
so this is actually called the effing drink hole, the float with the tote.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are kind of like, oh my God, the effing drink hole. It's the float and drink hole, a
Yes.
float with a tote. I
There
mean, you
you
could
go.
also say it the other way, but that's your
Yeah.
call.
Yes.
That's how you roll.
That's right.
Um, so they have to have like certain qualities, like
Uh-huh.
that I wanted to bring out in the product. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have it all made in the USA.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my stipulations. If I'm going to do something, I wanted, do it within the country.
Right.
Two, I've always wanted to give back. Um, I've always wanted to like donate, but I never had money. I know, you know
Right.
what I mean? I'm always broke.
Right.
I ended up hooking up with Tunnels to Towers. So anytime, one of these is once I start, a donation is going to American soldiers. So it's made within the USA. the donation stays within the USA. It's not. It's just
Yes.
how I want to run things. There are
Of
so
course.
many good. There's so many good foundations out there.
Yeah.
It was really hard to choose. Honestly, it was. I was kind of getting myself mad. I'm like, I just got to choose one. Like,
Right. But
I
there's a
can't
lot.
exactly. And there's
Yeah.
but it's where I kind of based it off of. They're one of the top people that actually the percentage of their dollar goes right to their foundation.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think they're the top or anything like that, but they're above. They're one of the top ones. But I thought that was a cool thing. Like, your donation is actually getting put towards the cause.
Yeah.
Like that. So I looked into that, and anytime, so a dollar out of the proceeds goes to Tunnels to Towers.
That's amazing.
But properties that I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place here.
You are fine. I jump
okay,
all over the place. We got you.
So I wanted this product to like be me. I wanted it to be, this is a product that if I have to stand behind, like I need to, it's got to be me. It's got to be about me, like not
Right.
about me, but the qualities that I have to be in the product. It's just how it has to be.
Right.
So because I wrote,
no, you're
wrote
good.
down it because I knew I was going to forget it. So I didn't want to put a logo on this thing. It was just, it would have cost more money and it's
Right.
the logo wouldn't come out right. So I was like, this is all about making people smile. So it's all about the choice of the customer. So that's why I was like, I'll make a logo, but I'll put it in sticker form so they can do what they want with it.
Right.
They can put it on their forehead, their float, their cup. Like it doesn't matter. Wherever they want to put it is up to them.
Right.
But the logo I had to include certain things into the logo. There's positivity, there's happiness, and there's laughter.
I love that.
Yeah, because people look at this. I remember. I don't remember, but in the note, I believe I put like whole thing is kind of like don't judge a book by its cover. It starts with the name, the F and drink hole. People automatically assume they think it's the fucking drink hole.
Right.
It's not. It's the float and drink hole.
The float. Yeah, get your heads out of the gutter, people. Come on.
Yeah, that's funny. I actually put that on one of my ads. But then when it came to this,
let's see.
When it came to that, it had to speak me. So the qualities that are into it, the positivity, the happiness, and the laughter, you just see a sticker. You just see a funny, weird sun that's farting green farts with American, sunglasses on.
Yes,
well,
that's exactly
behind the scenes, that's where the positivity, happiness, and the laughter come into play. Because the positivity is the rays of sun.
Yeah.
Makes you feel good, makes you feel comfortable.
Right.
The happiness, a smile is so underrated.
True.
And just a simple gesture of just, hey, how's your day going? Or, walking past you and I give you a smile and a nod type of thing. It goes it goes more than you think.
It does.
Just for caring or just for, showing me that if I'm having a bad day, it'll bring me out of a bad day. That somebody actually smiled or I made somebody smile, which makes me smile. And that's the thing is like, I like making people happy. It makes me happy to make people happy.
Yes.
So if this product makes people happy, I'm happy. It's not about the money. It's about making people happy.
Right.
But when it gets to the float, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's like a don't judge a book by its cover. It's also got three things. It's reliability, it's quality, and it's convenience.
Yeah.
It's reliability that it may just be a drink float, but your drink's not going anywhere.
Right.
It's not flipping, it's not tipping, it's not drowning. It's there to stay. I would suggest taking it off though when you go get a drink refill.
Oh, sure.
They don't like this on the bar.
Of course, yeah.
Just to give you a little heads up.
Thank you, because I am taking it. I'm about to load mine up with stickers, like all different kinds of stickers. This is
a waterproof sticker, so it's not gonna. It shouldn't rub off. It shouldn't do anything. It's a pain in the butt to get the thing off, but other than that,
I'll
It
figure it
works.
out. So let's go back to where you took a bunch down to the pool. Now, like, did it catch like wildfire? Were people like all in the pool with your little things, or did they get it?
So that was the weird part. So I handed out like 200, and I get people sometimes just take them back to their room and like forget about it,
Sure.
which is fine. I did my normal walks around the pool and just to see like who's using them.
Yeah.
I saw them scattered, which was good. So
Good.
I would actually, at a certain point, like I would walk up to people and be like, listen, I brought those. And they're like, oh, these things are awesome. And I was like, listen, I'm glad that you like it, but if you can give me any constructive criticism, like what do you not like about it?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? What can be changed? What can be done? Like, what do you think? What'll make it better? The only thing I heard all week was different colors.
Oh, that makes
That's it.
sense. Yeah.
Um,
But
so
you've left it. I think it. Reminding that white or a solid color, whatever. I mean, it kind of leaves it where you can customize yours, right? Like make it yours.
yeah. I mean, you can put stickers on it. You can decorate it. Like,
Yeah, you could.
I haven't tried
write
the
on
marker
it.
yet, but
Oh, I
I haven't
like a
tried the marker yet.
Sharpie. I mean, I don't know if that's waterproof, but like it's customizable. You can make it whatever.
Well, that's it. You know what it is? It might actually take a marker because it's high in blood. Like it's got sun UV resistance a little bit in it. Yeah, so that was the qualities that I wanted on it.
Yeah.
It needed high buoyancy. It needed to hold your drink where it is, and it cannot go anywhere. Water resistant, or at least to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And then good quality, like a good foam. It just can't be this crappy chintzy foam that just does nothing. It has to be sturdy.
Right.
Yeah. So there were three things. There's stuff behind the scenes that you just see a stupid float, but you don't realize like there's a lot of stuff that is behind it.
Yeah.
These things are, stuff that I do in my life, like positivity. I mean, you got to stay positive.
It's important. It really
it's very
does
important.
work. It works. If you can
and then the
stay in a positive.
happiness.
Yes.
Just being mad and being stuck in the rabbit hole is just not worth it. It's just not worth it at all. So,
but sometimes we don't even realize that until we hit rock bottom,
Yeah.
And that's okay. Sometimes that's what we need.
And exactly. That's what you need.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just can't. I wanted the drawing and the float just to be funny and to just make people smile and enjoy. Not have to worry about their drink or worry about this. It's like a no worry thing.
Right. I love that. And I think it's really going to catch on. I really do. Because like I said, I'm taking mine.
You might see a couple. I mean, you might see a couple.
If I do, I'm going to take a bunch of pictures and send them to you. So, I mean, because you need to see that. Like if it's happening, you need to see that. But like if someone's listening to this right now and they're like, hey, this is a genius idea. Can people reach out to you and get one of these?
So I'm not yet.
Not yet.
I am. So my New Year's resolution this year is to not be afraid of technology.
True.
Yeah. This was a whole new thing for me.
Yeah.
Back when I was 18, I'm like in computer class doing my thing. I'm like, I'm never going to learn this. Like, just get me through the class.
Right.
Well, I'm yelling at my 18-year-old self every day for like the past 4 years.
Yeah.
Because I'm scared of the unknown. Like I'm scared of what would happen if I do something wrong.
Nothing. You can't.
But I think this kind of led me into like, I need to get over it. Like it needs to be done because if I want to sell these and I want to kind of just make people happy by getting these in people's hands, I need to get over it. I need to put my big boy pants on, basically, and get with the times.
Yeah.
But I threw out message like things on Facebook and Instagram just to kind of like kooky videos.
Yeah.
And that's another thing is I love being an idiot. My shame holds no boundaries.
I can understand that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at the video, I'm wearing flippers with like goggles on and floats, like little floaties sitting in a bathtub. Like, I just came up with like the stupidest idea and went with it.
It's going to make people smile, though. It's going to make
And
people
that's the whole
laugh.
point.
It's going to
Is
make
like
people
if
happy.
I got one person to smile out of like
Yeah.
the 10 or 15 views that I got,
Yeah.
job well done.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
but yeah, I was actually just today earlier trying to set up the Etsy thing. And my thing with technology, it took me all day and I still didn't get it, but I'm like, I'm that close.
You're this close.
Well,
definitely
and I do want to
let us know.
GoDaddy at some point.
Oh yeah. You do a website and all of the things. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? It'll come in due time. I think I was always trying to rush.
Don't.
Get it done. And I think it got me nowhere, but 400 floats sitting in my apartment right now, just staring back at me like, what are we doing?
We're waiting for a home. We're waiting for a pool. We're waiting for an ocean. We're waiting on
summer's coming up. Let's go,
bathtub,
buddy.
like whatever it is, I think that this is genius. And yeah, definitely let us know when you are up and running. And if people can get a hold of these, we want to let people know and let the listeners know. And there's hopefully going to be like Dave and Tim in 2025. But also there's other venues besides Dave and Tim that are pool parties. Like obviously we have Florida and, other places and stuff. So these are
everybody talks about like the Gorge and stuff like that. Like the other shows, that's like the big Labor Day weekend.
It is a big deal. And people would call it, kind of the Mecca or the whatever. And I can understand all of that. There really is. There's just so many different venues. There are so many, and they're all amazing, every single one of them, because they're all different. Right. And it's a different part of the country and different kinds of people. And for me, that's the chase, is because, I always say that Dave is my personal travel agent. He tells me where to go every year. And I'm just like, okay, let's go to the middle of Indiana in a cornfield and party. And you know what? He has never steered me wrong. Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio, like whatever. It's always a great time. And this country is beautiful. Every state is very different. The people are different. And I think it's just a great way to explore like what our country is, right? Like what it looks like, what kind of people make up this country, because it's a lot of different kinds of people and a lot of different kinds of backgrounds, and it's beautiful. And so, those are, I say all that to say there's water everywhere, right? Like, and so people need this.
Yeah.
They do. I'm telling you, got a great idea.
I actually took a trip in 2023. What I would consider is, I called it the free effing float tour.
Yes.
I got another 200 and I packed them up in my car and I said, screw it, I'm driving south. So I ended up driving down to like Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and just stopped in a river tubing place and said, hey, do you mind if I give these away? And it worked. It was great. And I met so many cool people, and it wasn't like, I didn't sell one. I didn't even sell one. It was all about giveaway, all about just showing people what it is.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing. Like everybody's like, oh my God, that's a cool idea, and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And I never really heard anything bad about it.
No, I don't think you're going to. I mean, I need you to know that it really is a great idea. Like it's going to do well whenever you're ready.
Too, actually.
Damn. So you've done like all the things to like make sure this is going to work. And like you said, don't rush it.
Yeah.
Like it's all going to happen if it's supposed to happen. Right. And I think you got a good thing going.
Just a little at a time,
Yeah.
As long as it's progress. Progress is good news.
That's right. I always say that, like, change is progress and progress is good news. And so, yeah. I love that. I love that.
That sounds good.
Dude, I cannot thank you enough for just like kind of sharing your journey and what that's led to, because, it's funny. We all found the same bands, but like we all found it different, and we all found it at, maybe a different time or at a different place, or, from a different person, but it has all kind of brought us together. And because of that, we're able to share like the cool things that are going on, within the community. And these are the types of things that are amazing to me, is getting to know everybody and what makes them tick and the cool things that they do outside of the band. And so thank you for sharing your effing float and tote. Tote and float or float and tote?
Float with the tote.
Float with the tote. I totally screwed that up.
That's the catchphrase, float with the tote.
Well, it's just wicked cool. And I have fit that in twice now during this interview. And I don't ever, I joked before we started recording. I was like, I loved your letter. I read it out loud to my husband, and I could just hear your accent like bleeding through the paper because you used the word wicked.
If this cold wasn't, overpowering and I had like 3 drinks, it would be twice as worse.
Oh, really?
Oh, so
well, it's not bad. It's just, to me, it's different. And so I like your accent. I think it's funny, but it came through on paper too. So it's funny. It's funny. But dude, I can't thank you enough for sharing your story and for carving out some time on a Friday night to record with a girl that you don't even know about a band that your friends are all like, what the fuck are you doing 33 years later?
DMB family is family.
That's right.
So
that's right. Well, it's literally the most beautiful part of all of this is, we've got the music. We won't always have them live. We will always have the music in general. But one thing that will go on past the band is the community of fans that loved the band, because typically this, I've seen time and time again that the friends and the acquaintances and the relationships that we build inside this community really aren't surface level. They start out that way because of a common bond and a common interest. But then they really kind of do surface into things, and the community runs so deep. Like if that, I'm going to say, for instance, not that I'm selling anything, but like if I was shopping for like an interior designer and I'm like, here's some great. And then someone said, and here's her, and she's a diehard Dave Matthews fan. Guess who I'm doing business with? Guarantee you it's probably going to be her, probably, if
she's got a leg up. We'll just say
she does. And so that's what this community does is, just exposure of like how many amazing people are in this community, and that we all do different things and offer different things. And professionally, I think that that's really important to create like a yellow pages of people and be like, okay, who do we have in the community that can help me with this?
Dave Pages.
It is the Dave Pages. That's right. You just totally named it. But yeah, I think people are gonna hear this and go, well, shit, I can't wait for his Etsy shop to go up, because that's gonna make my life easier.
Well, I'm gonna face my fears and I'm gonna get it going.
You have to, yeah, you do.
But I just, as I actually saying that, I just want to say, Dave is amazing, but I didn't want to leave out the rest of the band, because
true,
just their solos and their contribution to just everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Doing other shows, stepping in for other people, it's having fun on stage, trying to make the show enjoyable for us.
Right.
DMB gets all the credit in the world.
They really do. The whole band is amazing. And I catch myself often saying Dave. I think that that's just kind of a fan thing
that's
to
where
say.
I caught myself. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I'm leaving out a good portion. But they're all amazing in their own unique way.
Exactly. I agree with you wholeheartedly. They are each, I'll say it time and time again, masters of what they do, top of their game. They've got so much experience now and so much influence from, all the people that they've worked with in the 33 years and even beyond that, before the band even started. And so what a group of people to come together from very different backgrounds and very different music backgrounds, right? But like bringing all of those differences together made such a beautiful sound. And what a thing we can learn from that is if we bring our differences together, maybe that's a beautiful thing.
That's either that, or it almost like you just let the differences disappear. You're all there for the same thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
You could go left and I could go right, but once we're in the middle, we're enjoying the same show.
That's right.
That's right. Everybody has the same goal when you go to Cancun, and that's to have a freaking great time and enjoy.
Yeah. Or at any show, right? At any show.
Anywhere, any show, just in life, let alone a show.
Exactly. Or if I just listen to Dave Matthews Band in my car. it feeds me, right? Like you don't even have to be at a show to get that feeling. I mean, yes, it is a different feeling, but like I can't tell you how many times I've sat in the car and a song came on that I've heard a million times, and at that moment in my life I needed to hear those words, and just like the chill bumps, right? Like you can get that feeling anywhere from this band, and I know that people can get it from other bands, but obviously Dave,
it still works the same. Like it still happens to me. I'll be out at dinner one time and I'll just hear Dave Matthews and I'll just kind of forget the conversation I'm having. Be like, wait, what?
It's like squirrel. What? Like, what?
Oh, butterfly. Look at that.
I am the same way. Like I will stop in the middle of a store if I hear Dave and act like everybody around me hears it. Like, do you that's Dave? Oh my God.
Well, see, at some point you exclude like, oh, that's Dave.
Yeah, because I think DMB. People need for me to point it out all of the time, and they don't care. They don't care.
No, you're enjoying it. That's all that matters.
Yes, I needed to talk about it to make myself feel happier. Oh my God. But Mark, thank you so much for coming on the show and telling everybody about how you met the band, what it's done for you, and like all the cool things that are happening in your future. I'm so thankful that you agreed to come on, because I know that this was something that was a little maybe out of your comfort zone. And so, I always tell people like, this is an easy thing. It's just me and you talking about something that we love.
Yeah.
And then just don't think about the fact that hundreds of people are going to listen to it or whatever,
You know what is, I got nervous right off the bat, just kind of like, trying to join the session. But
of course,
as soon as we started talking again, we're here for the same thing. We just,
exactly,
we need, it's about the DMB and how they've affected our lives.
That's right.
Whether they know it or not, it means a lot to us.
It really does. It really does.
So we appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. We do.
So, but thank you very much for having me on.
Oh my gosh, yes. We're going to have you back on after you're a millionaire from your coolest invention ever.
After I visit Shark Tank. After I'm on the show.
We definitely want you back.
No, thank you. Well, thank you very much. Have a blast in Mexico.
I promise you it's going to happen. I think it's an impossible thing to say it couldn't happen, right?
You really can't not have a good time.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. It's not. You're not going to have a good time. It totally makes sense. I mean,
it's guaranteed, basically.
I think so. I mean, and because it just doesn't matter. Like the people that are going to be there, the music that we know is going to be there. Like, you're just going to meet some amazing, amazing people. Amazing people. I can't wait, because obviously that's my gig, is like meeting other fans.
We're going to see you in 2025.
I hope so.
When he plays again, because it's just, you're going to go there and the last day you're going to be like, I'm sold.
Yeah, I need to start financing the next trip, right?
I think we need to do a yearly podcast in Mexico.
Oh, you know what? I think that sounds amazing. So next year, let's just make it official. 2025. You and I are at the pool. We've all got our floats, and we're talking about it on the podcast.
I'll do my best. I'll start saving now.
Yeah. I mean, if we just put away I don't even know how much you'd have to put away per month to have it paid for by next year, but like
a lot. We'll just say a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's all worth it. I don't care if it costs twice as much. It's so worth it.
That's what people say. So, and you know what? I'm going to report back. And obviously I report my personal feelings and not facts, because I'll be real honest. If you've listened to this podcast enough, you're going to know that I'm not a fan of the Gorge. And as a Dave Matthews Band fan, people are like, there's something wrong with you. But like everybody has different things, right?
No, you don't have to.
I don't have to. That's exactly right. Because guess what? I'm paying to be at these places. So if I don't like it, I don't go.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. You don't, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Boom. I don't have to do it if I don't want to do it. I don't have to. I don't have to.
I can make my own choices. I'm old.
And if it doesn't bring you joy, don't do it. End of story.
Yep.
If you don't have to, right? Anyways, I don't know. But yeah.
No, I get what you're saying. I totally get it. I didn't have a rebuttal, but I completely.
No, I mean, I know we all feel the same way. I don't know. But guys, yeah. So every week I have a new fan on to share their journey with the Dave Matthews Band, a band that, again, 33 years of their time we have been given. And we're just so thankful for that. So guys, if you're listening to this and you're like, hey, I would love to share my experience, whether that's because it's changed your life, it's changed your soul, it's changed your heart. It has, created, anything that you want to share, whatever your story looks like, because again, everybody's story looks a little different. Reach out to me on socials. You can email me. My email is very easy. It is kiss on the Lipsmeyer, which is my last name, at gmail.com. And so you can email me and say, hey, I'd love to share my journey, and I will reach out to you to tell. And like Mark said, it's very easy. It's not a hard thing to do. It's like a Zoom meeting.
No.
We talk about it, Dave.
Take it from me. It's actually not as hard as you think.
That's right. That's right. So definitely reach out to me if you're interested. Otherwise, if you're interested to see who is going to be on the show, I have started putting out a monthly calendar so that you can see every guest that's going to be on every week. And there's some really fun ones coming. Every story is just as important because, again, it's a story of love. It's a story of us finding something that gave us purpose. And for a lot of us, it's something that's changed our lives. So guys, stay tuned every week. Be sure to follow us on all those socials. And in the meantime, as I say every week, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band. Thank you, Mark, so much.